There was a house at the edge of Birchwood, standing forlorn amid the encroaching forest. The locals called it the Whittaker House, but everyone knew it as the Screaming House. It had been abandoned for decades, shunned by the townsfolk for reasons that had eroded into whispered legends. Some said you could hear the screams at night, others swore they saw figures moving behind the dusty windows. Skeptical and eager for an adventure, four friends, Jenny, Mark, Alisha, and David, decided to spend a night in the Whittaker house just to prove the legends wrong. They armed themselves with flashlights, a few provisions, and a camera to document their escapade. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie twilight over the sleepy town, the group approached the house. The door creaked open to a stifling, musty air. They stepped inside, greeted by the oppressive silence of abandonment. The musty odor of decay hung in the air, and dust particles floated in the errant beams of their flashlights. Cobwebs festooned every corner, and the floorboards groaned underfoot as though lamenting their intrusion. They set up camp in what seemed to have been the grand parlor. The once lavish room now stood as a sad relic of its past grandeur, with faded wallpaper peeling away in long strips and a colossal chandelier draped in cobwebs hanging perilously above. Hours passed as they talked and laughed, mocking the stories that had made the house infamous. As midnight drew near, an icy wind seemed to seep through the cracks in the walls. At first, it was faint, a mere whisper. Then it grew louder, more insistent. The whispers turned into cries, a cacophony of tormented souls echoing through the hallways. The friends huddled together, fear clawing at their bravado. Suddenly, the camera's battery drained inexplicably, plunging them into darkness. Jenny screamed as she felt a cold hand grasp her ankle. Mark's flashlight flickered, revealing fleeting shadows that danced along the walls. The whispers grew louder, now accompanied by sinister laughter and faint crying. They tried to escape, but the house seemed to mock their efforts. Doors slammed shut of their own accord, trapping them within the twisting corridors and labyrinthine rooms. Finally, they stumbled upon an old, decrepit mirror covered in dust. As they wiped away the grime, they saw not their reflections but ghastly, twisted faces staring back at them. The figures in the mirror grinned maleficently, their eyes hollow and soulless. Alisha dropped the flashlight, and it shattered on the ground. In the few seconds of darkness before Mark could relight his, the oppressive silence returned. The group now found themselves alone, with only the memory of those hideous faces to haunt them. Desperation set in as they realized they were not welcome in the house. The malevolent spirits of the Whittaker house had claimed them as their own, ensuring their screams would join the horrific symphony that rang through the walls. By dawn, the house stood as it always had, silent, watchful, and hungry for the next curious souls to step inside.